In this episode, I'd like to introduce Avishai Trabelsi. He's the CEO and founder of Quicargo, a Dutch startup that connects businesses to trucks with empty space in real time. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I named Quicargo as a Dutch startup, but obviously you're not born in the Netherlands, you're from Israel. So how did you wind up in the Netherlands?
2 years ago, we looked for the best market to start Quicargo, and as you mentioned, what we're doing, we're taking empty trucks and we're filling them with goods from businesses that seeking transportation. And as a very traditional market, we knew that we have a lot of challenges, so at least we looked for the most advanced market to actually, that the gap between what we would like to introduce to the market and the existing situation is not too big. And by that you can do fast go-to-market and get really good feedback from the companies, and to actually make a proof of concept as quickly as possible.
So you originally come from Israel, and you're part of your family business there. Is it called Trabelsi Trucking Company or something like that?
Similar.
Something like
the
that.
Initials. Yes.
Yeah, with the initials, exactly. So you started with the family business. You were a co-owner there. What did you make? When did you make the decision to actually start an online tech startup?
Yeah, it's like in a family business, it's like a hate and love relationship. You grew into that, and I was always assigned to take over the company. So actually, I didn't need to go to study or to do anything in order to have it, and it was too easy for me. So I went to study. I studied accountancy. So I worked for BDO. It's a very big accountancy firm, but I didn't really like the corporate life, and I went back to the family business. And then I started to go into the business model, and I saw that my father waking up at 5 o'clock and in the morning and still during the night and answering for the drivers that they're all over the place. So it's a huge company, 100 employees, really nice offices. But if you look for the margin at the end of the day, zero. So in those days, the demand, we're spoiled as a consumers, okay? The demand has become much more, we want everything in 1 hour in different colors right away to our house. And it's influencing actually all the supply chain. And the trucking companies actually cannot
get a sustainable profit. Yeah.
Cannot provide the services. So the margin become very slow because the cost increase. There is a huge shortage of drivers in the industry, and the congestion in the road. So you're spending 2 hours just standing on the roads, and you cannot increase the prices for the businesses due to the high competition. So actually, the business model is not there anymore. So once I saw that this is the problem, I started to work to find a solution. I looked for a solution in different places, and I couldn't find anything. So together with Ronnie and Elad, my two co-founders, we started Quicargo.
Yeah, so can you explain me a little bit more about what you do? You fill empty spaces in trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, is just cargo going to magically appear out of thin air? How does that work?
No, so actually all the trucks that you see on the roads in Europe, 50% are empty, 30% totally empty in domestic areas. And on top of that, more than 30% partly empty. However, of course, you cannot utilize everything, but you absolutely can do something. And if we mentioned low margin, if you're finding a solution to fill those trucks, actually pure profit, because you already paid all the expenses. So how we're actually doing it? We are connecting to the planning system of the trucking companies, and we have a big database of the routes and the available capacity in the cargo space.
So you're actually like a matchmaking platform, maybe almost a Tinder for trucks? Can I call it like that?
The first, but we're not only matching, we're actually going to the date as well.
Okay,
so,
yeah, okay.
So we do the match, and afterward we're managing the transactions. So we're making the payments and making sure that everything is in order, the track and trace, all the paperwork. So in order to save time for both parties, we're taking over all the transactions.
All the transactions. You just mentioned that you particularly chose the Netherlands as your launching hub for your startup. Your business mentor and investor, Annegien Blokpoel, she told us that you actually went on an elaborate roadshow almost across Europe, scouting for cities and accelerators and incubators to help you out. Why such an elaborate roadshow, and can you maybe go into a little bit more detail why you chose the Netherlands and start a bootcamp in particular?
Course, yes. So I'm very arrogant person.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be, at least. So when I started the business in Israel,
Mm-hmm.
I thought I have an amazing plan, an amazing product, and I sold my car, my house, everything actually, and I created quite a nice platform. However,
You went all in.
Yeah. However, the market was totally in a different place.
Dead,
so, for
maybe.
instance, if we developed Android app, but still most of the drivers are still using the walkie-talkie. So I could learn it before, but I didn't, and I knew it. But
Mm-hmm.
I thought that I can change their behavior, and that's a huge mistake, especially for a startup. So my lesson was that the real market that I'm going is the softest land I can possibly do. So in order not to choose the wrong market, I decided to take 3 months and actually to spend
3 months.
3 months, yes, in Germany, Poland, UK, and Netherlands, and speak with many companies as possible, in order to make sure and to feel where will be the right market. And of course, I took a lot of research, and I found out that the Netherlands, in two main reasons, is the best. First is the hub of logistics. If you look about Schiphol, Rotterdam, also in Venlo, that concentrating a lot of goods. And if you connect it to the rural area in Germany and the Flemish part of Belgium, is the most dense area of goods in Europe. So it's actually quite small country, but in matter of logistics, it's the biggest.
Yeah, can you say something about in percentages?
Yeah, so if you're looking for all this area that I mentioned, it's about 30% of all all Europe together. So only because of those 3 points. So if you look you can look about Amsterdam, Antwerp, and the Essen, for instance, in the rural area. This is the hub, the biggest blue banana. It's called
the blue banana.
The blue banana.
Okay,
yes.
really, I didn't know.
All the flows of the logistic in Europe comes from there.
So recently, you announced a 900,000 seed round, funding round, and the total amount now raised by the company is somewhere in the region of 1.3, 1.4 million euros, if I'm correct. And as cited by FD, the Financial Daily here in the Netherlands, you will reach somewhere in the region of 2 million euros in revenue this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, am I correct? So, but if you look at the company, you haven't even launched, if we look like a full year ago. So what happened throughout that year?
I learned my mistakes. So before official launching, I took 10 months and I introduced the first product to a closed group of 50 businesses.
Like a pilot phase?
Yeah. And we had 2 focus groups in the suppliers, the trucking companies, and the other side were the businesses. And we engaged them to build it together. So every 2 weeks we had sessions, and we improved and we pivoted the business model and did a lot of changes. And until we weren't sure, based on the feedback, that we are good the product is fit to the market, we didn't start to invest €1 in sales. And in September it's happened. We saw that the feedbacks are very positive, and they're willing to, and increasing the volumes in the platform. And then we started to raise the money in order to make it commercial. So we started to invest in marketing and sales, and since then we're growing rapidly.
Yeah, so how many people now work in the company?
Now 14, yes.
Okay. So, and recently you also announced something else, is that you're moving into Germany and Belgium. You were already, of course, like you just mentioned, shipping to the blue banana, if you like to phrase it like that. But does that mean you're now also opening up offices in Germany and Belgium?
Yeah, the reason we're moving so fast for those 2 locations, that we saw an opportunity in the market. due to the fact that there are a lot of there is a huge gap between the demand and the suppliers. So the trucking companies actually starting to they need to choose. They don't have drivers, so they are choosing only the big accounts, and we see a huge a lot of small companies that are looking for solutions. In the last quarter, we grew more than 1,000% in the online searching. People actually searching for solutions. So, and we're forecasting that it will stay the same in the upcoming months. So we want to get to those 2 locations that we're already shipping for there, like 20% from our transactions.
Okay.
Because we believe that now a lot of the need is really big in the market, and this is a good time to go to those 2 locations. And it's I wouldn't say easy, nothing easy, but it's first it's logic because our company is already shipping for there, and we know, and the supplier already working there, so it's quite a soft setup. And you ask about offices in Belgium. We'll have a commercial office, so only the front end, the back end, the support will be from Amsterdam. And in Germany, we'll open the whole office, yes, including backend and front.
Yeah, and where? In Bonn or Essen?
Yeah,
or?
we didn't choose yet the exact location, but it will be somewhere. Yeah.
Somewhere there, okay. So a little bit about your personality. So I had a look at Crystal Knows. That's an AI startup that shows your personality based on your social profiles. So
which stage are they? They're already in the commercial or in the pilot? Because if in the pilot
no, they're in the commercial phase. I actually paid $300 for it. Okay. So listen what they have to say. You're an influential. So that means that Avishai tends to have more confidence and gut instinct than formal structure, which can lead to bold but unpredictable decisions.
Okay, interesting. In personal life as well or no?
This is about the businessman Avishai.
Yes. Yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's wrong. It's totally wrong. I would never do a deal. I will never make a deal without with wrong gut feeling, and I will never hire someone without feeling very confident. If I have any questions, he's not the right guy. Especially also in the personal life, by the way.
Okay, that's good.
But yeah, so it's a combination. I will never take a decision only on gut. So it need to make sense, but. I think if you look about the ratio between the emotion to the economic sense or whatever you call it, I think it's quite 50-50. That's a little bit risky.
Yeah, exactly. So what people find remarkably about you is that on the one hand you can be a calm thinker, almost like a chess player choosing his next step. On the other hand, you can just, I mean, it's a little bit the same, right? As you can move forward very aggressively and just choose instantly what you do once you've made up your mind. You also play basketball and you do yoga. So a huge contrast basically in character. Do you still feel that describes you accurately as well? Or?
Yeah, look, it's like I do work with my gut feeling, but I first really think about it. And if I'm having the conclusion that is the right things to do, I'm not looking on sides. I'm just running and accomplish. This is something that I'm
accomplishing
really
your goals.
Yeah, my goals and everything. Yeah, so it's quite helping to a fast growth. It's sometimes less helping in the personal life, but. Yeah, it's a combination. And regarding the basketball and yoga, of course, you need to have balance. Otherwise, you go too straightforward.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that helps you relax as well.
Yeah,
and
just to get some balance, yeah.
Exactly. So a funny thing, I knocked on your door recently to prepare for this interview, to talk to you. And no one there. Office completely dark, completely empty. Vacated, and I thought, well, have they gone bankrupt or something? What happened to Quicargo? So I just walked a little bit further down the hallway and I saw you have a totally new office, fully furnished. Everybody was sitting there like they've been sitting there for a whole year. And it happened over the course of, I don't know, 2 weeks. So what happened? Is that just something that just pops in your mind? This needs to change and you're doing that at that moment? Or how does that happen?
Yeah, it was. I looked a little bit farther to the forecast, and I realized that we are growing faster than I planned, and I wanted to get a very good and open. The new office is more like with a lot of plants, and you have more spaces, and there are like we separated the departments between between them, and then they can create more better personal feeling, but also team gathering. It's also helping it. So yes, it's what it was like 3 days actually.
But is that 3 days?
Yeah.
That's super fast. So, I mean, is this also something that you learn from a family business? Is that company culture is the most important thing? That your employees need to be happy?
I think I managed about 100 employees, but most of them were drivers or warehouse people. So it's a little bit different.
You don't see them, you know?
No, I see them, but I learned that the business is people. This is the only thing that's important. Not the most important thing with group of people that engage to one vision. You can do many things with, and of course, as a startup, you have always ups and downs and a lot of challenges. And if you cannot gather a team that work together, it's impossible to achieve something. So yes, this is the most important thing. We have a yoga once in a week. Everyone needs to do yoga now.
Yeah.
And we have like a team builder that coming every month. And we went 2 months ago to ski together. So yes, we're fully. This is the most important thing for me. As a CEO, to make sure that everyone is really open and to keep the balance between the personal life to the business.
Now, a bit more on a serious topic, fundraising. Like every CEO is always fundraising, right? And of course, you already raised about 1.3, 1.4 million. But I assume it's now about time to raise a Series A, right? Or at least the next round. So how's that going for you at the moment?
Yeah, since we decided to go faster to Germany and Belgium, so we're going a little bit earlier to our round A. The good thing that we have investors supporting us, so they will help us to get also this round. But it's very difficult.
What is your biggest hardship at the moment? Raising a good round in the Netherlands with a good valuation?
Yeah, we step a little bit out in the Netherlands because it's quite difficult to get the all funding from internally, but they are all connected. It will be partly with the Netherlands or other places like Germany and the UK and even Israel, because it's the same more or less ecosystem, so it can work quite well. And as so far we worked with angels and people that actually believed and could contribute also value. Now we are going into a professional investor, venture capitals, and it's something that we are realizing. It's different due diligence, a different approach. So we're figuring it out. Of course, we'll do it.
Yeah, while you're driving. Good analogy, I guess. So for you, is that also that the whole fundraising process? Do you love doing that, or is that something that you still feel that you have to learn to appreciate it?
No, I don't like to do it. No, but you need to do it. Of course, I prefer to speak with clients than investors, and to develop my team or another markets instead of raising. But this is if you want to grow fast, you need to have this support from investors. But I must say, I really like the relations with good investors. It's also about people, right? So you need to find the right group of people to support you. And actually, on the day-to-day, I'm really active with the shareholders in order to execute and to accomplish the goals. So the first door is not so lovely, but once you have good relationship, it's really important and it's fun. I like it.
No. So where will this lead next to? Because you're really hyper-focused on these small parts of the Netherlands, Belgium and Germany, the blue banana as you called it. What other markets are interesting for you?
As I mentioned, it's the biggest market actually in logistics. But we are looking for any northwest European countries because the way of working is more or less the same. The IT system that the companies working are more or less the same. So we're looking for the Benelux, Germany and the UK mainly.
So will you ever go back to Israel? Or will you stay, in Amsterdam forever, get married, have a couple of kids, sell your startup?
Yeah, I must say that the sun is quite a topic for me.
Yeah.
I born and raised in the Negev, so it's very hot. It's
a
almost
desert, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it's a little bit different climate, but I really feel welcome here. And seriously, I think a lot of things have a very good in matter of personal life and education and everything. So I would love to go back to Israel, but now I'm really realizing Quicargo, and I don't think it will end it soon. So hopefully.
So in Amsterdam is the best place for that.
Yeah,
at
it's
the
also
moment.
for headquarters because it's very easy to travel and centralized. It's very good. Yes, I think we're going to be here for a long time.
Okay. Avishai Trabelsi, CEO and founder of Quicargo, thank you for this great interview.
Thank you very much.